yo, we got a lot of movies that are coming up soon, and you guys need some opinions about them, whether you like it or not.
That's right. Well, let's kick off. Let's talk Venom 2.
Welcome back, Eddie Brock. It's been a long time. Miss you so much.
Guys, you're the comic book geeks here. Tell me, first time you saw Venom, you've explained to me he was in the third Spider-Man film, the Sam Raimi trilogy, and he was a baddie, like a symbiote came down and did bad things through Topher Grace. Then comes along this Tom Hardy, and he's kind of a bit of an anti-hero. Looking at this trailer, he looks like he's going to become the goodie, particularly in contrast to Woody Harrelson's Carnage.
Sure.
Is that a fair read of what we're seeing here?
I mean, that's where they're going with it on this one. So you got to take it into context. So obviously, because Sony had licensed out Spider-Man already and had failed so horribly at being able to do a consistent live-action Spider-Man, they clearly they started taking from the comic books Planet Venom, where a Venom of this symbiote actually became more of a redeem factor and becoming towards that anti-hero and returning back. It's, obviously they're trying to set him as a Spider-Man for their Venom universe. Interestingly enough, Carnage has also played into that factor too, where he's been either the ultimate villain or the ultimate anti-hero. And they're going to lean into him being the ultimate villain, and he is an insaniac. The Sam Raimi one was weird, to say the least. Okay, that one was. I mean, look, it's Tobey Maguire, Topher Grace was an interesting already casting on that one. I'm glad they at least made it up with somebody who can put on muscle, original Brock. The original Brock was able to do in the comics, and where I more so took it off from was from the Spider-Man animated show back in the 90s. It's going to be interesting how they do it, because it feels like they're going to try and play a little bit into what they already did on the first one, whereas it's two versions of a symbiote. That one is realizing its way, and the other one is a boss. But in this one, like in the comics, Carnage was kind of an offset of Venom himself. So I don't know what they're gonna do, but it looks like at least they got Woody Harrelson, so he looks like he's gonna be insane. And they had the insane guy for Carnage before. This dude can shapeshift far better than Venom and everything. So I don't know. This one, I'm concerned, because the other first Venom was average.
Okay. Yeah, it was okay. Kind of confusing backstory from where the symbiotes come from and all that. It doesn't sit well with me, but it was still pretty good. Yeah, I hope they do better with Venom 2. I think Woody Harrelson's actually a good choice for Carnage, and that's why I'm excited for it, because I'm hoping that Let There Be Carnage is going to be better than the first Venom. Yeah. So yeah, and in the comics, he's become a villain and an anti-hero. Like he's become Agent Venom as well, who's worked with Secret Avengers, I think, and some Thunderbolts and a few other groups there. So hope. Maybe, I agree with Gift that maybe Sony is trying to, since Spider-Man is in the MCU, and if there's a possibility that they're not going to be together, Venom is being set up to be like the hero for that universe and probably battling other symbiotes like, Toxin and all them.
Yeah, I mean the first one, I don't remember much about it. Or I remember a couple of things.
It wasn't memorable, so it's easy to not remember much about it.
I remember it not sucking because I watched it sometime after it was released, and I heard a lot of lukewarm reviews.
Right.
So my expectations were way down, and I just remember thinking, "Oh, that lasted only 90 minutes." Phew. But it didn't suck. And the other thing I remember about it was, Tom Hardy really made it his own character. He was a good guy for that role.
Yes.
Well cast. And so, to me, not a lot was gained, but not a lot was lost either. They could only really go forward with it. They got the main ingredient of casting right, and so therefore they gave themselves something to work with going into the future. And now they brought in Woody Harrelson. Again, watching that trailer, it sounds super creepy, and I thought that's another great piece of casting. So, casting, I say, is about half the movie's job done, and so when I watched the trailer, and particularly when we got to the Woody Harrelson bit, even though I didn't quite understand what he was saying in that first quarter, I don't know what he's right to, I did get excited by it, and then we had all the action shots and the CGI stuff, but. I'm
a little concerned because it is creepy, but I feel like it's gonna get that Age of Ultron take because if they did Carnage right, and this is we all say this, especially when it comes to dark storylines, like Carnage is like an absolute psychopath. He's a psychopath. Like the dude is a murdering psychopath, and we're not gonna get that. Like we saw what happened in the first Venom. Whenever even the symbiote eats somebody's head off, like it just gets blanked away. So I feel like they're gonna undercut a lot of the darkness that they could take advantage of because they want it to be in that PG-13 realm, which is understandable. But I don't feel like they're gonna push the edges like they really could of what PG-13 could be, so that we can see like what a real Carnage actually can do.
But
that was one of the and speaking of casting, I'm so heated that that freaking Sony got Tom Hardy, because that man right there was the perfect Wolverine. He was the perfect Wolverine, and Sony stole him away before we had a chance to get it put together.
You're gonna piss the Bray train off,
What country does Tom Hardy come from?
Hey, look!
Is he Australian? Is he Australian? Then how can he be perfect in anything? How can he be better than Hugh? How can he be better than Hugh if he's English and Hugh's Australian? We've got six gold medals, one more than Team GB. All right. Tom Hardy has got 5 gold medals. Hugh Jackman has got 6 gold medals.
No, but yeah, as much as I'd love to see Tom Hardy play Wolverine, because again, my major gripe about Hugh Jackman playing Wolverine is
he doesn't look like him.
He's tall, but I'm also sort of psyched to see Tom Hardy play Venom, because he's got the build for it. He's jacked. Yeah. And like in the comics, he's like a big buff guy like you, the two of you, big burly guys.
He brings Tom Hardy does have that dangerous feel to him, like that thing that I liked him in the role of getting back to Venom. He did have that dangerous sparkle in his eye that seems to be very Venom. Like he could eat someone at any time. You see the running joke in that trailer, Have you seen this movie Warriors?
That was the movie that let me go. He's Wolverine. I was like, when I saw that, he was a monster in that. Like that was berserker mode that he was able to show off with that one.
Yeah, but that's also good for Venom.
Yeah, it's all right.
So, guys, how do we feel about going to see this movie? Are you excited about Venom 2? Are you on the fence?
I'm still on the fence with Venom 2. I think it's interesting. I got to see what the next trailer is going to be closer to the time. But, I got to kind of get an idea of what they're going to go with on the storyline. I didn't really feel like I got too much from the trailer itself, except for Tom Hardy is now the hero of the neighborhood. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I, I'm a bit more excited about this. I'm a bit more hopeful. I'm hoping that it's a lot better than the Venom movie. Because man, Venom movie had like a really sucky villain there
Yeah,
for
it didn't
me.
even make sense.
That's why I'm hoping Let There Be Carnage is a lot better than the first one. Because the first one had a really sucky villain, and you know, um,
Mm,
he's now the new friendly neighborhood spider kind of thing.
yes.
Because yeah, what about you, Jace?
I'll see it when it comes out. I'm not super pumped for it, but I'm not against it either. I'm curious to see Andy Serkis as director, stepping out of the column mode and directing. He's certainly been on a lot of really good projects, so he's got some great teachers. Matt Reeves, who we'll talk about later, on the Planet of the Apes trilogy, and then of course under Peter Jackson with all those movies he's done with him.
Right.
So
And don't forget, Wakanda
you know,
Forever! Ryan
Yeah, he's
Coogler.
good there.
he's great in that. But I'm talking about you're right. So I'm curious to see how he goes. The opening scene with all the breakfast and stuff kind of points that it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think, if a movie's fun, then it can cover a multitude of sins. So
Yeah.
that's my thoughts on that.
The only thing I'm worried about is the same thing Dick is worried about, like because it's PG-13. We won't be able to see like the full potential of Carnage as a villain.
Yeah.
Because they have to keep selling merchandise, and they're probably scared that the Tim Burton thing with Batman 2
Right.
is gonna happen. That it's too dark. Let's remind our friends to please click on the subscribe button and hit that notification bell so you know when we have new videos out.
Subscribe!
Die. Or die.